RSVP with Lori, where everything expressed is my opinion, not the law. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and click the notification bell so you'll know when I upload new videos. Thanks. Hi guys, and thank you again for joining. If you have not subscribed, please consider doing so now. If you have already, thank you so much. As we've all seen in the news the last couple of days, R. Kelly has been convicted of racketeering, sex trafficking, and I'm not certain on the other charges. And this isn't the only case that he has pending. He has about 140 years, if I'm not mistaken. 10 years to life is what the sentencing can be. Right now, the sentencing is set for May 4th of next year. And I'm a little disturbed at the reactions that I've been seeing. Here's the problem that I have with Black families, Black people, Black celebrities, just the Black community as a whole. And I'm speaking on the Black community only because this is what I have experienced being a Black woman. There are so many excuses when it comes to sexual predators in our families, in our communities, within entertainment. I don't understand the reasoning behind, but he was such a legend. He's such a great musician. And it's not just R. Kelly. The same goes for, oh, but he was such a good dad and he's so smart and he was there for the community and he gave back and he helped the kids and he was the basketball coach and he was a great teacher. None of that supersedes the acts of a sexual predator, a monster. So why even mention it in a conversation to someone? This is so triggering for me. It upsets me. It makes my stomach hurt. You know, it hurts. It's so disheartening to see those that I know, those that I don't, make excuse after excuse after excuse for the vile acts that this man has caused. And not just this man, other men. Those that know my story know that I was molested by my uncle, and I didn't tell people for such a long time. I never told my mother, even before her death. I have shared with other family members, and their response was no response. My family still talks to this man. He's still welcome in their lives. And, you know, that hurts because it's basically just like, F you, your feelings, and all the trauma that this has caused you in your childhood. We aren't going to acknowledge that because that means our family isn't perfect. We aren't going to talk about that because that means we might have known and not have done anything. We aren't going to talk about that because we don't want to confront him. Never mind that you've had to live with this for 50 years. It's sick and disturbing. There are mothers that know their daughters are molested and stay with the men within Black families. I know a person that had her father walk her down the aisle and he molested her just for the sake of having her dad at her wedding. It's sick. It's disturbing. It's unreasonable. And something has to change. And I'm hoping these conversations about R. Kelly may just do that. You know, I honestly don't have the strength to either join or start my own program to help young women get past this because I'm not past it myself. And, you know, I've started counseling again, and I'm hoping that it's helpful. But in the back of my mind, I cannot get these images out of my mind. I don't understand what I did wrong in my life to deserve that. But it's traumatizing as a human, as a woman, as a child. It's so traumatizing. So when I say F. R. Kelly, I mean it. And any man that did similar acts, F them too. And if you defend R. Kelly, F you too. If you have children and you defend this man and you still dance from his records and you still sing along, you are a sick person. And don't try for 1 second to blame the mothers, the parents, the families and say, well, they knew what their children was doing. They let them go over there. Guess what? Even if all of that is true, if a person, quote unquote, sold their daughter to a man, what responsibility does the man have for purchasing the child? It's drugs available all day long. But if you buy them, you're going to jail. So that makes absolutely no sense. There are many things that are illegal. And if you participate in doing those illegal things, you're guilty. It doesn't matter if somebody offered it to you. Even prostitution is illegal. Yes, the prostitute was available, but if you exchange that money for sex, you're guilty and you're going to jail. So you're going to make an excuse for a grown man because you're saying a parent said, here, have my child. Just make her a good career. Just give her money. And that's okay with you that a grown man accepted it? No, not at all. And I don't want to hear, well, the parents should go to jail too. Let's just focus on one thing at a time. Maybe and maybe not. But at this current moment, R. Kelly is guilty. There's a period on the end of that. There's no comma. There's no but. I don't care that he was sexually molested. I was as well. And I would never, never inappropriately touch a child just because it happened to me, because I know the pain. I know the hurt that it causes. So that's an excuse again. But anyway, I want you guys to listen to Claudia's show. Claudia, Vivica Fox, Selena Johnson, and Lisa Ray. Listen to what they had to say, and then I'll chime in with my final thoughts. Thanks.
Actually, breaking news, R. Kelly has been found guilty by a federal jury today in a sex trafficking trial following decades of numerous allegations of sexual assault and misconduct involving young women and children. Now, Kelly was convicted on 9 charges that were based on the accusation that he ran a criminal enterprise comprised of managers and assistants beneath him who helped Kelly meet young women and girls for his sexual desires. Now, following the verdict, R. Kelly's defense lawyer, Deborah O'Canick, says he's sure that they will be appealing the sentence after he's been found guilty in the racketeering case. What are your thoughts on this update and for R. Kelly to get this, to take this big loss?
We knew he was going to. We absolutely knew that this was going to come to an end. I don't think so much that he thought so, because he just kept doing it, you know what I mean? And kept risking it, you know what I mean? But it started long time ago. And I guess when you get used to something, you don't get caught, then you start feeling yourself. And most celebrities do. Most men do when they get away with a lot of things. And the parents came around and was like, not no more, not mine. Because I'm standing up for mine, because I'm gonna tell, and we've been waiting for it since he got locked up and see what they were going to do and what was going to be able to stick, and now
it all stuck.
All 9 counts.
I hate to say it. I was like, wow, everything. They're like everything.
Yeah,
everything.
And I think Selena, that's be hard to kind of appeal everything. I mean, I guess you'll lessen the sentence if you get lucky, but I just think that they had a lot of proof, and they had a lot of witnesses that came through, and they had a lot of parents to testify as well. They got videotape, and we've been hearing about videotapes for years.
That started it all.
Exactly.
Selena, you work with him before. Well, what are your thoughts on this? Being that you knew him, and what are your thoughts on this? That it's kind of, I guess, come to an end until an appeal happens. But what do you think?
Honestly, like everybody said, we've been following this situation, and I've said so many things on it, but the one thing that I'm sad, guys. Sad all around. Like, it's sad for the women, of course, but I'm sad for him too. a young boy that was victimized, that ended up victimizing others, is paying for he's paying for what happened to him and what he did to others.
Yeah.
And it's just like, man, all this music, all this legacy, his kids,
Gone.
his ex-wife, and all of the people that were around him that maybe didn't know what was going on. And then it's just very.
I'm gonna have to stop you right there.
No, don't stop me, because I gotta finish. It's just very sad. Like, I'm not talking about didn't know what was going on. I'm talking about like that didn't see stuff. Like you and I. It wasn't like we were sitting there watching stuff happening. You know what I'm saying? It was very shocking to see those Lifetime specials and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I saw that, I was like, oh my God. We were walking around this man and not knowing nothing that was going on like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's just real sad, like the whole legacy, everything. He like jammed his whole life up. He jammed up his whole catalog. It's really messed up. So
and I know it's personal for you because we are personal friends with Rob. You know what I mean?
Like
I grew up with him, so I know.
Right.
So it hit hard. It hits close to home.
It's different. It's not just good. You went to jail. It's like, dang.
Yep. And it's so unfortunate because those people you were talking about that be in your camp that help facilitate it, they work for you. So it's almost like their job. And even if they turn the other cheek, it's like, will he really listen? Because when you're the boss, it's only so much your assistant can buck up and say to you, really, your publicist or whatever, because you're
absolutely
right. You're kind of like, look, I heard you say it once, I heard you say it twice, don't say it again.
Right. I think society has a huge problem with holding celebrities, famous people, and people that are rich accountable. And if we can benefit us in any way to keep our mouths shut, we do. There's no way that all those people that were around him, y'all may not have known because he wasn't going to share that with y'all sisters, because you guys have integrity. He's not going to share that with you. But there's people around him that were totally fine with assisting this man. And the sad thing with the story, yes, this man committed a lot of crimes against a lot of kids and young women. There was a crime committed against him that was never addressed. And it allowed him to become a monster. And in the Black community, we have got to stop, making this thing so taboo and not believing our sons and our daughters when they say an uncle, a sister, a mother, a father touched us. And we got to knock that shit up. We got to cut that off. We got to cut it out.
And we got to rise above, because some parents was like having their 16-year-old daughter stay out. And it's like at 16, at 15, like, why wasn't you knocking on the door going, get your ass out of there and come bring your ass home?
That too. So many facets. It's so many facets and levels to this whole thing. It's like everybody could be responsible. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's like so much deep. Responsibility. It's real deep, and it's really sad for me to see all of that legacy and all that work and all of that love that we created, that we accumulated for him and his music and what he did to music. And now none of that matters anymore.
He's facing up. Last question. He's facing up to how many years, y'all?
They didn't say that.
10 minimum. 10 minimum.
And I think it's a lot more. It was 9 layers of charges.
Yeah, no, it's 10 minimum. And then he could get 10 to life. But he also has charges in Illinois and somewhere else.
Dang. Oh, he
hasn't even been tried for.
Kelly, we feel for you for what you've been through when you were a child, but a lot of us have been touched, molested, raped, been victims of sexual assault, and we can't use that as an excuse to victimize young Black girls and boys. Let's move on because listen, we'll cover it again.
Shame on you, Selena. Shame on you, Selena Johnson. Do you see how people don't have empathy because it didn't happen to them personally? Because she has so much to gain by that man not being convicted, by him not being looked at as a monster. She has songs in his catalog, I'm sure writing credits, etc. So it's also a cost to her career and her life. Now, am I saying that she knew what R. Kelly was doing? Absolutely not. I'm not sure not. But she's given interviews where she said she knew something was wrong. She knew R. Kelly only wanted to deal with her and not her husband, and he didn't respect the fact that she was married. There was something off there. At what point as a community do we get past the money? Do we get past the fame and say, this is wrong? Something is wrong with this man. He needs to get help. When we heard the first set of stories, and he wasn't convicted at the last trial. When he was visiting Kenwood High School in Chicago, and the music teacher became aware that he was recruiting young girls, and they only stopped him from visiting the school instead of stopping him from committing crimes against young girls. It's wrong. When he was meeting girls at McDonald's and he had his handlers passing out phone numbers, he was fully aware that these young girls were in high school, promised them careers because he was a powerful man, and everybody looked the other way. Somebody knew these things were happening, and nobody protected these girls. Nobody protected these young women, even as adults. Osriel Clary and Jocelyn, I forgot her name, the other young lady. Nobody protected them, including their parents. Nobody protected them. All of the people that were on the gave interviews in that special and said how they were on the tour bus and caught him with Aaliyah or this young girl or this dancer. All of them. And I'm going to tell you one last thing. I do believe Andrea Kelly should be charged. Yes, I believe Andrea Kelly should be charged because there's no way that she didn't know about this. There's no way she didn't know this was going on. And it's so hurtful as a mother, as a woman, as a human being that so many people allowed this to happen. I hope R. Kelly rots in that jail. I hope that crimes are committed against him each and every day that he's there. I didn't listen to R. Kelly before this happened. I may have listened second-handedly, but I've never had R. Kelly in my playlist. His songs aren't that great that I will overlook him being a pedophile, a predator, a monster. What in your right mind allows you to supersede the fact that this man is a sexual predator to listen to a song? I don't get it. But you know what? There are so many families that have sexual predators among them and they look the other way. You are the reason that R. Kelly got away with it so long. You are the reason that my uncle got away with it so long. Because you'd rather pretend that it never happened just because it didn't happen directly to you. You're sick, including and especially my family. I told my other uncle, yes, I was a full-grown adult when I told him. I told him, he said he was going to have a conversation with my uncle that did molest me, never got back to me. Never said another word about it. I told my auntie, she said she's going to confront him. Haven't heard back from her yet. So when I say I know for a fact that this happened and people pretend and people ignore, I know for a fact that it's happening. And not just with R. Kelly. Plenty, thousands on thousands of Black families this happens. Please leave your comments below. Has this happened to you? Has it happened in your family? Do you know a sexual predator and it was too painful for you to confront that person and you never did? Has anyone shared with you that they were molested? And what was your response? Like, share, comment below. And as always, everything expressed here is my opinion, not the law. I do understand that. Thank you guys for listening.